So in my career as a personal trainer, we're talking 16 plus years. I've lived vicariously through hundreds at this point, thousands, I'm sure. It's always interesting to hear their story, their take. I, growing up in a household, my dad was military.
Yeah.
My parents have been married now 40 plus years. So I don't know certain ways of life.
Yeah.
One that you're not very quiet about, you're very vocal about it. So thank you. And I'm pretty sure the world appreciates you being vocal about this part, but you did not grow up with your father in your life. Yeah. Let me shut up at this part and just ask you, what was it like growing up without a father? And were there any implications at this point in life because of it?
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is a tough one. It was, you know, what's interesting is you as a kid, you don't know what you don't know. You just adapt to what your circumstances are. And it's not until you see something or something that maybe on TV or something that looks familiar, it's like, oh, my life is a little different than this. You know what I mean? And so as I aged and matured, I knew he wasn't, you know, present. I realized that I'm going to probably have to figure this out for myself. You know what I'm saying? And it truly didn't bother me until, to be quite honest with you, I know it's going to sound so odd, until I got to about 38. I didn't realize that I had like father issues or daddy issues, whatever you want to call it. And I've told this story before where I was kicking it with a friend of mine. We was at a bar and he had to leave a little early. We were watching the game, and he told me, I was like, is everything good? That's genuinely concerned because he's never had to leave early. He's like, yeah, man, I got some issues I got to talk to my dad about, new job, girl I'm dating, all of these things.
That's what your friend says to you.
Yeah, it's what he says to me. I was like, oh, okay, go ahead, man. His name is Ant. So Ant leaves, and it wasn't until I was sitting there by myself, and I didn't realize I was kind of like having a moment where I was at the bar where I was kind of like, you know, looking off, you know, zoned out, right? And I realized I had this array of emotions. I was mad, angry, sad, just a multitude of different issues, emotions. And I realized, oh shit, that's what it's like to have a father. Meaning you can go talk to someone about your issues, things that you're going with, whether it's a job, a relationship, kids, or whatever it is. He actually had someone he can go talk to. And it pissed me off, and I was very envious of him. And not at him. I was more mad at my circumstances. Yeah, it was like I never had that ability to go talk to another grown man about my issues or problems. And it really... It upset me because all of the lessons and mistakes that I made that probably could have been avoided. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where, you know, I realized I'm not okay. Because growing up, to go back to my childhood, I said, okay, cool, I'm fine. I'm going to figure it out. And I was like, I'm going to be better than you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be present. That's why my daughter is so important to me, and I was so hands-on with her and had her with me all the time, was because the one thing he did give me is like, I don't want to be like you. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that truly, truly motivated me, but as I matured and got older, it was a problem. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I had almost tears in my eyes at a bar where I had to leave because I realized, man, I wanted a dad. You know what I'm saying? I know this big muscular man, I say that, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I wanted a dad. Even you, when I hear you talk about your father in such a glowing light and the things that he instilled in you, not having that was, it was hard, man, as I got older. And I just think about all of the mistakes I made, and more importantly, we've had conversations about masculinity, trying to figure out masculinity when you don't have that man to guide you. Or
show you the blueprint.
Show you the blueprint. And so that's why we talk about your term, TNT.
Yeah.
TNT, the Turner Network television, where we looked at Arnold and Sly, you know, as, okay, that's what masculinity is. So we literally, me and my brother used to watch a lot of movies where we'd be like, okay, that's what a man looks like. But we were only looking at the exterior.
Okay.
The stature, you know what I mean? The swagger, the charismatic. But there's so much more that can be still inside your heart. Learning how to treat women, learning how to talk, learning how to shake someone's hand, look someone in the eye. I had to either my mother had to teach me that, or I had to kind of figure that out on my own, and that is really disappointing.
Yeah.
And I'm always kind of big on like being present in your children's life because I love LeBron James. I love all the great athletes we have, Michael Jordan, our time, but in no form or fashion should they be your hero. They should be motivated. Your father should be your hero. I imagine you seen your father get up each and every day, go to work and take care of the family, take your mother out, show some affection. Seen none of that. So everything was like a movie. I'm just going to emulate a movie or a show that I see, like Huxtables. I was like, oh, okay, that's how a man moves. And, that's not real life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not the way it's supposed to be. So not having a father really, really hurt. I still deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm always going to prioritize family at this point in my life. You know what I'm saying? Be in your kid's life. Our community probably suffers the most with absentee fathers. And so when I do see it, I get filled with so much joy.
Yeah.
When I see a man with his kids, I have happiness, but also a level of like sadness,
envy.
It's like, man, I wish I had that.
Yeah. But it's not to detract from the woman of your life, your mom, your grandmother, because they raised a good citizen. They definitely raised a good male. But as you said, routinely, a man. They could not raise a man because their secondhand version of a man was probably the fictitious version that you used. Yeah, which was just the character you saw on TNT.
And it was funny, Ron, because every time my mom would date someone, I would attach to them so quickly. I was like, yo, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Yo, you big, you got muscles. Like, you want to go outside.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, hard to accept.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think it's pretty cool that you definitely drew from that. As you say now, you do routinely things in the community on trying to make sure that those who do feel that get some form of a positive male energy in their life. It may not be their father.
Right.
You're not their father, but you're definitely offering up an example of masculine energy that they might be able to emulate and grow from. I seen something earlier, and I was reading and I should probably research the question first before I ask it. But hey,
okay,
you're pretty open about this kind of stuff here. But I was reading a caption you had, and I wanted to ask you more about it. I'm going to ask you right now on camera. Revengeless. What?
Oh, my God.
Revengeless. Please let me know.
Oh, man.
In fact, let them know real time as well.
Yes, the revengeless.
What is this revengeless?
Okay, so when I decided to get on social media seriously 3 or 4 years ago, that solitude that I was describing earlier, where I had lost a lot of people, and it wasn't always in good ways. You know what I'm saying? So the revenge list came about where I was like, you know what? I'm going to use all of the people that did me wrong or said I couldn't do this. You can't open a supplement business. You're going to fail. You're going to do this. Or you didn't talk to me no more. You said things behind my back. So I kind of created this list. And some of the people on the list probably didn't deserve to be. But I put them on my list.
Still fuel.
Yeah. And I used that list. I would look at it periodically. And I would use it to fuel me. I was like, okay, I'm going to show you. Because I wanted to make sure. And it could be exes, whoever. I was like, I'm going to be so big. You're going to see me everywhere. You cannot avoid me. And I'm going to make you feel some type of way every time you see me. And it wasn't until me and Angelique, we were in Colombia. I woke up in Colombia, a whole nother country, feeling good, life is good, everything is well. And I realized the list kind of just popped up on my head. And I said, I haven't looked at that list in probably 6 months. I was like, it's time to move on. You know what I'm saying? It's time to move on. And the list was important to me. It motivated me. I used it for good. Yeah. But at a certain point, it was time to let go and move on. So it served its purpose. Yeah. And I'm not telling everyone to go out here and make a revenge list. Do whatever you need to do to motivate you. But for me, it worked because it gave me added fuel for all the people that I felt like I was trying to get at.
Okay. I like that concept. I can definitely see people translating that into their own world. They used, or you used the list of those who were naysayers to fuel your ambition of the journeys that you're going to go on. But that wasn't what you were dedicated to, it seemed.
Yes.
That's what propelled you. Right. But then you realized that you were actually doing this for your ultimate personal good.
Yes.
And I guess it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they were hurt by whatever relationship they were coming out of, and they wanted to feel better.
Right.
They were trying to make someone else feel bad about leaving them, so they decided to make their body better or great.
Yeah.
Same concept, I guess, if they could parlay that properly.
Right.
Which means that brought them to the gym.
Right.
But what sustained them was when they realized that simply owning your health is enough. Getting revenge on an ex is great, but you've got to do it for yourself ultimately.
You got to do it for yourself.
Getting revenge on someone who may have said or spoke ill words into your life is great, but you got to ultimately still be successful and pursue it on your own, or for yourself, I should say.
Yeah, no doubt.
Another question for you, man. This humanitarian part of you, has it always been there? And if it hasn't, where has it come from? What makes you human?
Yeah, man. That's a pretty cool question. Because I know I get that a lot. Like, man, you're so humble, you're so this, being where you're at. And I always say it's because I've lost everything at times in my life. I have been at the bottom.
In your adult life?
In my adult life. I have been at the bottom where I've lost everything. I've had a lot of money in my life, and I've, like I said, been flat broke. So those experiences have humbled me, where it's like, I know I'm not in control. At any point, all this can be taken away from me. So while I'm here, I want to be able to, be of service to people, you know what I'm saying? But also not feel like I'm better than anyone, because I understand what people go through on a daily basis. And I think a lot of men, I resonate with a lot of men because of that humility, and I've actually lived a real life, like driving trucks, doing construction, pouring tar on roofs, like moving furniture. And those things have given me the ability to understand people that may not be, what you would say the top percenters, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understand, bro. I understand. I can have a conversation with someone who is, owner of a 5 Fortune company or a construction worker. We can vibe and we can have a conversation too, because I understand both sides. You know what I'm saying? So my humility comes from just literally losing everything. You know what I'm saying? And humbling myself to be like, I never thought I was better than anyone anyway. I put my shoes on one at a time. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everyone else. You know what I mean? So, we all like nice things, but we always want the best, but also remember where you come from.
Yeah.
And I come from, a humble background. My mother did such a wonderful job providing for us, but, there were times where I heard no a lot. You know what I'm saying?
The best she could, but she couldn't do it all.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So you're drawing from 20 years, how old are you, 40?
42.
42 at this point.
Yes.
So you're drawing from your adult life. Let's just say it starts at 20. You're drawing from 2 decades of experience. And no matter where you were at in this life journey, if you was up or down, financially, business-wise, mentally, emotionally, family, you found a common thread with whom you were dealing with. When you had it all, you didn't have any.
Have it all, right.
When did you sit back and really get retrospective about this all? When did you realize that there was a common thread? Was it something of a recent sort you just walked into?
Yeah.
Or did you stay present of mind when you had nothing, when you had it all, clearly on top of the hill now? This common thread, social media.
Social media, getting emails and DMs about, man, I heard you, they would be talking to me and they would say, man, that video you talking about fatherhood, losing everything, or being a truck driver, it's like, man, that really, that was me. I understand that. Or having a child early and being able to figure out how you're going to navigate through that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, people was calling me like the people's champ. It was weird. And I was like, what is this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I got on social media interacting with other people, I was like, oh man, this is real. You know what I'm saying?
These
they
are
understand.
common occurrences and issues everyone has.
Yeah, we all have these issues. And hearing other people say that I motivated them or inspired them through fitness, that was humbling as well. Because it was like, wow, because I don't really genuinely feel like I'm doing anything extraordinary. I'm not saving nobody's life. I'm not a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon. There are some people out in this world that are doing some pretty extraordinary things, but also, too, for people to recognize that I do have value. It may not be in that space, but in this space I do. That really, really was humbling to me. And I was like, and I take it very serious as well, extremely serious.
Yeah.
Because now I almost feel like I don't want to let nobody down. You know what I'm saying? So it's sometimes it can be hard, you know, but yeah. No
okay, I guess that's really cool then, able to see that there's a common thread that we all have.
Yeah.
And I guess we are lucky, us both being on the internet with such a large following, is that we have a litmus test, or excuse me, not a litmus test, we have a sample set that's very vast.
Right.
We know really rich, we know really poor.
Yes.
We know young, we know old. We know those who are deep in their fitness journey, those who are just now starting their journey.
Right.
So we definitely have a lot of people we can find commonality with. That's cool. That's a really cool thing. Switching gears a little bit here. I don't know a ton about this community myself, but I have overheard you and your other friends talking about
Lord,
this.
I know where you go with this.
I'm gonna ask you this question here, because y'all had a really good conversation last night about it.
Yeah.
And I want to put you on the spot and have you say it right now in front of the camera. You bad. Red pill community, y'all said? Red table community?
Not red table. Red pill community.
Red pill community. What is the red pill community?
Honestly, at this point, I don't know. But I'll tell you what my experience is.
Okay.
It got kind of put on my radar a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. You know, the rise of Kevin Samuels. It's kind of like this manosphere. It's kind of like a niche community. It's fairly large on YouTube. So when it came on my radar, I was kind of excited about it because I was like, oh, this is like a men's empowerment space.
Okay.
Where men feel safe to have conversations about the things that they experience in life. And whether it was dating, fitness, finances, just helping you guide or navigate through this thing called life in 2024, 2022, 2023 as a man. And I was like, this is pretty extraordinary. I love it. But shortly after, probably a year or two later, it kind of started to turn into something unrecognizable to me, where the conversation started to shift only about women. And for me, that was problematic because as a man, there's so much more to life than women.
The view of women from a misogynist standpoint, positive, negative? What do you mean about women? They shifted towards women how?
It felt negative. It seemed like they were always bashing women.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And what's ironic about that was it was about women that none of us genuinely care about. And what I mean by that is they would really highlight, like, say, women that were extremely, like, promiscuous or, you know, low morals, like, you know, the hoes, in other words, the hoes that we don't want or care about. You know, we all have an understanding as men, those fun time, not a long time. But they were content creators building their whole space on bashing specific women. And I felt like that was, for lack of a better word, useless time wasted. When you could put more energy into talking about men being physically capable, in shape. You don't have to look like me or you. You can just be in shape. Putting more valuable information about finances, mental health, emotional health. Those are the conversations that when I found this space, what it was about. But it was hijacked by other content creators where all they want to talk about women, modern women this, modern. I get it. I totally understand. It's successful. It can be, some women can be very delusional, but that's not what this space is about. Yes, you should be as a man aware of a woman's nature, but there's so much more to being a man than just dating and having sex with everybody. So that was a frustrating part about the red pill community, and I don't know. Hopefully they can get it back under control, but it seems to be some lack of leadership there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's all about clicks and likes, and I don't like it. And I wish they would kind of bring it back and circumvent it and try to figure out how to focus on men, what we need, not necessarily about women that we don't care or want.
So is this red pill community a centralized organization or is it a movement
More of a movement. Because there doesn't seem to be, like I said, any leadership in place where we can really move this in a positive direction. Because we can only talk about the same thing over and over again. Let's just change the conversation. Let's talk about how we can be better as men. Not about avoiding hoes. You're so much more than that, right? Like, we can talk about a multitude of different things that can get us better.
How about vicariously live through my friends, my single friends? You yourself are also off the actual market, but it's still interesting to listen to them single folk talk.
Oh, isn't it?
This passport bros, I heard y'all mentioning that, and I was giggling and laughing to myself. It really has people in a tizzy. As I understand this, passport bros are American men who no longer want to date or find a spouse, a mate within the American borders. They're using their passports to go overseas to find women. There's a number of different reasons behind this, and I'm pretty sure the comment section will let you know how they feel.
They let us know.
But where are you at with that concept?
I find it interesting. To each his own. Do your thing. There's plenty of women here for me, so I don't need to travel abroad to find women. But I'm not hating on it.
Well, tell me this then. Why are these guys going abroad?
They feel like the women in America, which they would call modern women, have a high level of delusion. Their standards and requirements are absolutely absurd. And I tend to actually agree with them. But I also believe that not all women are that way. That's why when I was talking about the red pill community, I feel like if you equip the men with the tools that they need, they don't have to go anywhere. Because if you make yourself so valuable, they'll come to you. You don't need to go looking for anyone. Because the more valuable you make yourself, if you are physically, mentally, emotionally, and everything is intact, bro, trust me, you ain't got to do a thing. You set the standard of how you move and how your household moves. But again, I'm not hating on it. They can go find their women. I just feel like that is also an extension of the manosphere. And I get it. I understand men are very frustrated, and I'm frustrated for them. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard out here. A lot of men are being ignored. You know what I'm saying? They're sexless. They're not getting the attention that they feel like they deserve. And I would always say, man, double down on what you can do well. Double down on your fitness. Double down on your finances. Double down on education. Make yourself, because as men, you know, we have to earn everything. We have to make ourselves valuable. We're not inherently, you know, given things like women. Women come out the gate hot. They mature fast physically. You know, they mature fast mentally. You know what I'm saying? And they got it. They're off to the races with God given them. We literally have to get it through the mud. So I'm saying let's get back to that. You know what I'm saying? Let's just focus on that. Equip them with the tools. But I'm not hating on it. Go find your whoever it is that you're looking for. But I mean, it's plenty of them here. So,
so it seems like one of the overarching messages you're giving is before this young man or this man, young or old, it seems, expands his selection pool, he should instead increase his own value and attract that energy into his life within. Makes sense to me. Let's shift gears into something else here for a second, bro. Because me and you both love health and wellness. And there's elements to this world that people want to know. The most scathing of them all, it seems. I'm not sure why it is at this point in time, but it is still in your comment section. I go there routinely for entertainment.
My comments are crazy.
Steroids.
Man. They love talking about steroids.
What is it with the preoccupied feelings these guys have, or they are preoccupied, many are, with you and steroids? What are you doing? Are you doing something? How much are you doing? They want to know of it all. So if you had to declare one thing and hopefully put this to bed, you got it. Tell me.
I mean,
what's happening?
Like I said, I'm still somewhat, like I said, relatively new to the internet. So when I got on here and I started posting videos, everything was cool. But then there seems to be this influx. Everybody wants to talk about steroids. And I'm very open and honest about it. I tell them, hey, look, I'll even tell them what I run, how I run it, how long I run it, because I don't really care. And in a strange way, I get applauded for being honest and transparent, which is still very odd to me, because I'm like, Well, it's not nothing to be ashamed about. You know what I'm saying? I go to the doctor, I have a protocol, and for God's sake, I used to bodybuild. There's no bodybuilder out here that's just doing it naturally. Now, I did compete.
Have a much more noteworthy sword.
Right, exactly. Now, I did compete naturally for 2 shows, and I actually won. So the steroid conversation is very difficult to have for people who are uneducated about it, because that's the one thing that they can go to and say, oh, yeah, he's on steroids. Well, there still requires a significant amount of work. You know what I'm saying? It's actually harder, you know what I'm saying, when you're actually running PEDs. You know what I mean? But they don't understand that. But that's all that they want to talk about. It's like you still have to build a foundation. And without that foundation, you see it. Guys come off of a cycle and they stop and they shrivel up to nothing. That's because they had no foundation. So I'm always going to preach anyone who's willing to go on that other side to use PEDs, please maximize your natural potential. It'll serve you well. This isn't a game. I would never recommend this to children or kids, but you have to do it the right way. I was in a sport, and now I'm over 40 where I don't do hardly anything that I used to, where now all I do is run TRT, and it's helped me maintain a healthy lifestyle. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't understand. It's very jarring, but that's all everyone wants to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm open and honest about it. I don't care. I know a lot of content creators may lie about it, but to each his own. That's their way to do it. So it was never a thing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get online and I'm gonna be honest about everything. No, I just don't care, because you can't shame me, because I don't really care. Yes, I run testosterone. So what?
So in your in your health and wellness, which eventually evolved into competitive bodybuilding, it was natural, done from a natural sense, you're saying.
Yeah.
And then you would encourage everyone else to maximize their natural potential.
Yes.
And then you did creep into more competitive cycling of these performance enhancement drugs as your career went forward in bodybuilding. But now that you're no longer competitive bodybuilding, you've scaled that back into TRT more so for health and wellness.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's definitely, I'm not telling anyone to go that route or not, but you being, I hate using the word transparent, but you being so forthright on your journey is definitely something that everyone should commend and understand that, well, not everyone has to do it, but you volunteered to give that.
Yeah,
bro, again, man, we got a little deeper with this one here. This is definitely a good conversation, good sit down with you, man. I'm glad to have learned a few new things about you, and then allow everyone else the same opportunity to learn a few new things as well.
That's it, man.
Good stuff, man. The King Kong Unleashed app is definitely going to map out a lot more for those who want to follow the same journey.
Well, it's the Blueprint app.
The Blueprint 3000 app can be found on app. King Kong Unleashed.
Yeah, you can find it on the website, or you can go straight to Blueprint.
And of course, all your handles are MJ3000. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, same guy.
Too. Yep.
Good stuff then. So find MJ3000 on all those. And if you want to get straight to it, King Kong Unleashed is where
that's where it is.
The product line and everything sits, right?
Yes, sir.
Big dog, I loved it.
I love it too, man.
Good talking to you, man.
Good talking to you as always, my brother.